Hey, it's Rachel, and I want to talk to you about what to do when your child simply can't hear the word no, can't accept that there are rules and boundaries that they have to follow. And I want to teach you how to teach them to be responsible, but I'm going to do that by helping you see this situation from their perspective. So imagine you are a child, and all day long you're being told what you have to do, or what you can't do, or what you can't have, or what you're doing wrong, which is basically what they're being told all day long. They're told maybe they can't go to a friend's house when they wanted to, and they can't have electronics when they were hoping to play with electronics, and they have to do their homework even though they're exhausted. And we say to them, yes, I know you're exhausted, but you have to do it anyway. So all day long they're being criticized and told all the things they can't have. They're being told what they're doing wrong. They're treating their sister meanly, or they're putting their feet on the table, or all day long they're just hearing criticism. So often when children at the end of the day are, or even in the beginning of the day, when they're reacting strongly, it's because there's this buildup of them feeling all the times they've been told they can't do something or can't have something. And it just builds up and builds up. And what you're seeing in behavior where they either get really upset or really angry is simply a symptom of that buildup. And if you have a child who's really strong in their emotions when you tell them no, chances are they're a sensitive child. And so every time they're being told they can't do something or they have to do something, they actually feel it really, really strongly. And that buildup ends in an explosion of emotion. Now, let's get out of your child's world and into your world, because you can probably relate to what they're going through, because all day long you're also being told you can't do things. You have to make a lot of concessions in your world in order to be responsible and do the things that you have to do. And you can relate to it building up and building up over time. So even when your child is telling you no all the time or not listening to you, it builds up and builds up. And by the end of the day, you're probably really resentful and angry. And that's where they are also. The difference, though, is that you have two things they simply don't have. One is the ability to cope with that when you are constantly being told what not to do, or when you do have to be responsible and not do the thing that you want to do. You know how to cope, but children don't have those coping tools. And the other thing you have is power. I mean, you could, if you needed to, after a really long day, get in a car and drive somewhere. Or you could go drink some wine or do whatever else you want to do to help yourself feel better. But kids, if they walk away, they get in trouble. They can't drink wine. They can't go to their electronics that make them feel better. So they don't really have the tools to cope, and they don't have the power that you do. So imagine how you feel after a long day and exacerbate that by the fact that they can't do anything about it. So now the question becomes, what do you do? Because children do have to learn to deal with boundaries and be responsible and hear the word no. I also assume you're a little bit tired and maybe stressed. So I'm going to give you some simple tips for how to teach responsibility, given the fact that your children are being surrounded by messages of what they can't do or what they have to do or what they're doing wrong. So the first tip is to turn no's into yeses. And that doesn't mean give in to them. What it means is you can set a boundary by being a little bit more positive. So instead of saying, no, you can't have that cookie, you can say, yes, you can have it after dinner, or you can have it tomorrow. You can also be a little bit more positive in what you're asking them to do. So instead of saying, get your feet off the table, you could ask them what to do instead. So say, can you please put your feet on the table? Just remove a little bit of the negativity if you can. The second thing you can do is teach your children how to solve problems, which actually helps them cope. So you might say something like, no, you can't go to your friend's house right now, but maybe there's a solution here. Is there another way you can get a little bit of what you want, given the fact that you can't go to your friend's house right now? So teach them how to problem solve within a boundary, which is probably something as an adult you know how to do, and it helps you feel better. The last thing you can do is, if there simply is no solution and your child simply can't get what they want, be on the same team with them. So instead of, let's say you tell them they can't have a cookie and they get really upset, instead of saying, oh, it's just a cookie, or saying, stop acting like a spoiled brat, you can't get everything that you want, be on the same team with them and say something like, yeah, I know, I wish I could have 5 cookies too. Let them know that you understand what they're going through, and they're going to be a lot less reactive when you continue to tell them no in the future. So I hope that helps you understand what to do if you have a child who simply can't hear no and can't deal with the boundaries that we have to set for them. Basically, understanding why they're unable to hear no and deal with boundaries will help you understand what to do for them in the future. If you have any questions, you can always email me at rachel@rachel-bailey.com. I will see you next time.